Welcome to Daily Overdose.
I see a lot of these motivational speakers telling you what you need to do and how you have to go out there and grab life and don't be afraid and go to the mountain. And when you get to that mountain, build another mountain and blah, blah, blah. You got all the answers. You're born with common sense. You may not believe it, but you have the answers. They're embedded in there. You know them. Just like all of a sudden, what? They gave them wisdom and not you? Come on, we all have it. I believe a lot of it is in our DNA. We're programmed to survive. Not just exist, to survive, prosper, go forward, blah, blah. You get it. So what I'm saying to you is this. A lot of these guys, women, have good ideas. They're very motivational, but motivate yourself because you have the instinct, you have the knowledge. The lesson lies in learning, and by teaching, you'll be taught. It's all there anyway, just needs to be thought out. Take those thoughts, they're embedded in your brain, that you already know the difference between right and wrong and how to succeed. How do you succeed? Perseverance. Just keep trying. Keep trying. It's not that hard, not that complicated. I notice every year people make resolutions and maybe 5% stick. Because somehow along the way we sort of lose track of that ambition, that thought, and we say, I don't know if I can handle this, and I guess the word is we quit. I have, certainly on many times. But sometimes the word quitting gets a bad rap. By that I mean, if you're on the wrong path, you're on the wrong trail, you're going after something and it's just not working, period. It's just not flowing naturally. And you've been at it for a while, you go, I quit. Good. I did. And it opened up 1,000 new doors for me. So sometimes quitting is necessary to find your proper place in the world. By that I mean, in the early 70s, I went to New York with great ambition. Didn't know a person, like 8, 9 million people, and me, not one person. And I went there to be an actor. And let me just tell you, that was a bomb out. Man, did I crater. It was not pretty. So rather than completely go back and maybe drive a forklift somewhere, I said, okay, I really do love the film business. I love stories. I love telling stories. I'm not that good at it. At least I had never proven myself. And I started to write. And I would go into movie theaters with a really cheapy tape recorder. I record the dialogue. I think the first film I did was Easy Rider. And then I would try to write different dialogue. Kind of a contest. Not that I succeeded, but it's the effort that counts. But slowly but surely, I thought, wow, each screenplay is getting better. The first 5, you wouldn't line your bird cage with it. Nope. You wouldn't train your puppy on it. Nope. But around the 5th and 6th one, I went, not bad. And if I had never done that, I wouldn't be talking to you today. Because I had to go out and write my way into my future. No one was giving it to me. I wasn't one of those lucky guys that, you're at the right place at the right time. You're just exactly what we're looking for. When just the opposite was true. They say, you're not what we're looking for. You slur, you're this, you're that, you're kind of a type, you're thuggish, whatever term they used. And some of it was pretty damn brutal. Today I look back on it with humor, but at the time it hurts because words hurt. Words are verbal bullets, and they can shred you. But I just turned a deaf ear to it because I had no other recourse. I was going to be something in this business. Not an actor, not a director, but a writer, which was the longest shot ever. So, in conclusion, sometimes quitting is great. Quitting causes you to go in a different direction that you normally wouldn't have gone in, and where you thought, I could never succeed in this. And lo and behold, that door opens, and all of a sudden, destiny pulls you through. It happened to me. The fact that it happened to me is definite proof that can happen to everybody if you're true to yourself. You never know what beats inside a guy's heart. The exterior belies the interior. So, I could go on and on about this, but it happens, folks. It happened to me. It's happened to thousands of people before me. Everyone's a friggin' underdog. Even the guys that are billionaires. They started out as underdogs. No one gave it to them. Someone in the family, perhaps, had to earn it and pass it on. But that first one, the guy that went into the unknown, unprepared, but prepared mentally, but perhaps unprepared for what was going to come at him from so many different directions. And when I say that come at him, I mean those obstacles that wanted to defeat him, including his own fear, and they were overcome. So, as Rocky would say, it ain't over till it's over. I was thinking the other day that even though we're on dry land, in reality, life is almost like living on water, which is a very, very strong force. In all water, that is a current. And that current will take you out to the ocean, where eventually you just get swallowed up by the sheer magnitude of everything. And once you're out there, you can't swim back. It just takes you where it wants to go, not where you want to go. And swimming against the current is really a metaphor for life. You just have to struggle. It's a struggle to achieve one's goals, which is really difficult. It's hard. People tend to minimize, diminish the struggle that is just getting by in life. Quite often it's just easy to go with the current, but to be an individual, to feel as though you did your best in the game of life, you got to swim against the current. And boy, it's fatiguing. But when you get to the other side, when you can climb out of that water and you're at the place you want to be, in that unexplored area, kind of like reminds me of the extraordinary optimism of explorers. Imagine 1,000 years ago, setting sail for the complete unknown. You have no idea. At one time, they thought the earth was flat, you just go over the side and you die, but you still went. Were there sea monsters, or this, that? I mean, all kinds of dangers. You're going into an absolute abyss. Yet, what keeps you going? If you know there's something better out there, if you're willing to face the danger, the unknown. That's the journey of life. And it's invigorating, as well as challenging. Okay, here I go again, putting in my 2 cents. Everyone has 2 cents to put in, and everyone's philosophy quite often is kind of designed to help you get through life as we know it. But I was talking about alligator hide, and you have to be tough like that, and resilience to be able to ward off negativity. I mean, people have said to me, words don't mean anything unless they're true. That's not true. Words hurt. Words are the same as a thorn on a rose. They look nice, but boy, some of them can really hurt. Did anyone ever study an alligator, crocodile, and wonder how they survived so many hundreds of millions of years? Thick skin. Thick skin. Almost impervious pain. That is an element that I think is so necessary in this day and age to be successful. Talent. All right. That's a given. You have to have some of that. Ambition. Yeah. You got to have a hell of a lot of that. And this fear of failure. Good helping of that. Certainly inspires one to get out of bed in the morning. But the most important thing is the alligator hide. You have to be able to take criticism. I believe that some of the most talented people in the world fail because they can't take the criticism. They're too sensitive. Their artistic part of them just can't withstand the withering intellectual verbal bullets that rip them to shreds. In other words, criticism. Believe me, I was told 1,000 times, well, not 1,000, but a few hundred, you're not cut out for this. You slur, you're this, you're that. We can't fit you into any kind of category. You should really quit. Seriously, but you know what? You should work behind the scenes. And I went, well, yeah, thank you for that. But everything you're saying is bouncing off. It's like bulletproof. And that's what I'm trying to pass on to individuals, that you have to be able to be like a solid tree. We all share certain traits. For example, I don't like to argue. I don't like stress. I don't like conflict. But sometimes you have to face the conflict and the stress and the source of that and get it out of the way. Don't keep it inside. Somehow you have to purge yourself of this thing that's eating you alive. There's different ways of doing it. Getting into someone's grill, or you start to use your head and work your way around the problem without offending anyone, but you're getting your point across. But sometimes you just have to offend someone who's offending you. That's fair. And it takes courage. Actually, it takes courage to do a lot of things. It takes a lot of guts to stay in school. It's courage. It takes courage to get up every morning, and bravery and pushing yourself when you don't want to go to work, to supply food for yourself and your family. It takes courage to stick your head above the crowd and voice your own opinion, even though it's not a popular one, but it's one that you feel so deep in your soul that you have to get it out. You can't go through life living on lies. Quite often, you just have to stand up and grab life by the throat and not let go until you succeed. Courage. You all have it. It's just pushing the right button. Keep punching. Am I going to be caught in this time warp called the past? Because quite often, let's face it, your problems are from the past. If you didn't get the attention you wanted in the first 5 years being nurtured, you're going to have a problem for the rest of your life with nurturing and feeling secure. For example, I feel that nurturing and compassion and love and protection at a very early age, meaning when you're an infant, is more of a priority than food. And when you don't get that when you're young, you crave it your whole life. And quite often, it's also an incentive to do something with your life, to fill it up with some sense of accomplishment, or it's a release for anger, whatever it is. Quite often, I have found that the most damaged people have been the most productive. I know it's a horrible thing to say, but people that are missing chunks in their heart, gaps in their soul, because they weren't given the love and attention when they're very young, that can't be compensated for. Those are holes. Those doors are shut. So it's up to you to lay the groundwork for your future, to not do what other people did to you. So it's juggling. So here's to you all, keeping all these objects in the air and knowing that it's never perfect. Life is one big juggling act. It's like, how do you keep all these objects going around, and then when you drop a few, you got to pick it up again? But it's juggling. You juggle happiness with grief. That's a rough one, because grief never goes away. It sort of rises into the clouds, you might say. It sort of seems as though it's diminishing, and it does, until something brings it back, and therein is the cycle. That's why quite often I find therapists, for certain individuals, a fruitless exercise, because quite often these problems can't be extracted. Bad memories can't be pulled out and diminished. They're there. You just have to balance it. I've come across some of the most miserable people that have everything except what is truly important, and that is peace of mind and going forward without fearlessness. It's not easy. Sometimes you have to lie to yourself. Oh, I'm not afraid. You're terrified. But sometimes lying is good. If that helps get you up those first 3 steps into the ring of life to face an indestructible opponent, so be it. Lie to yourself. Sometimes lying gets the ball going.
Thank you for watching our videos. Please like and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss another video.